We almost got locked in the boonies last night. So you want to know how to find the secret waterfalls, the hidden gems nobody knows about that'll impress the girl you like, your girlfriend. Hey Kelsey, do I got something exciting for you?
Is it another waterfall?
Your friend Steve. I have a lot of friends named Steve who really like the outdoors. I'm going to show you 5 different methods that you can start using today to find these lesser known waterfalls and get the girl. Or get your friend Steve.
Method number 1, make some coffee.
Just kidding. It's okay if you don't like coffee. But I would try to figure out what's wrong with you. Actual method number 1, social media pages and groups. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. These are all places that people love to show off amazing photos, amazing stories of places they've been, so this is a great place to start looking. One group I'm personally a part of on Facebook is called Hiking Vancouver Island. There's been multiple times where I've been scrolling through the page and found people have posted beautiful waterfalls, so I went on to kind of ask them, hey, what is this place? You know, how do I get here? Whereabouts on Vancouver Island is this? And more often than not, people are pretty good about giving you the info you need to get there and get there safely. Now, the odd time you will run into somebody who's not as friendly about it, but that's bound to happen. A lot of people don't take care of these places, they destroy them, so if you're gonna go to these hidden gem waterfalls, just make sure to clean up after yourself and take care of the place.
Hey bud, do you got one of them back road map books I could borrow? No, sorry bud. I'm a true Canadian, and true Canadians let their hearts guide them in the backcountry and follow the call of the loon when they get lost.
Method number 2. The Backroads Map book and the Backroads Map app. A lot of these hidden gem waterfalls are often found on the back roads or on lesser known hiking trails. Now, I personally haven't really owned a Backroads Map book, but I do have the Backroads Map app on my phone, and one cool thing about the app that I've learned is that where there's confirmed waterfalls, they'll actually put a little waterfall symbol on the map. So the Backroads Map books and the Backroads Map app are both great tools in kind of navigating these areas and also finding some of these hidden gem waterfalls. Method number 3, the Gaia GPS app. So Gaia GPS is an amazing app in that it's really useful for navigating the back roads and the lesser known hiking trails. I actually use it all the time just to find my way around when there's no cell phone signal, so that's a huge handy perk to it for sure. Another cool thing is that Gaia GPS actually has little waterfall symbols posted just like the Backroads Map app that you wouldn't find using other methods that I'm going to talk about in this video. So one thing I love about Gaia GPS is there's amazing topographic information on this app. This can be super handy when you're wondering what kind of elevation gain you're looking at when driving on a back road or going out on a backcountry trail. It would definitely come in handy to start learning how to read some of this topographic information on maps. And that brings me into method number 4, using topographic information on maps to locate waterfalls. It's not always a very safe method, so just be careful if you're going to do this. So what you can do is if you go on an app like Gaia GPS where there's topographic lines, you can actually look at the lines, and if you see a creek or a river running perpendicular through one of the topographic lines, that right there could be a waterfall drop. So using topographic information on an app like Gaia GPS or other maps can be kind of a tricky one in that you don't want to get yourself into trouble going bushwhacking or hiking in the backcountry. You don't want to get yourself into a situation that you can't get yourself out of. But with that being said, there's been a few times now that I've actually looked at the topographic information on some of the maps and been able to pinpoint where some waterfalls were. All I'll say is just be careful if you're going to do this. Make sure you have the right safety plan and safety tools in place, which I'll talk about later. Method number 5, World Waterfall Database. What an amazing way to find waterfalls. So I heard about World Waterfall Database not only about 2 years ago, and ever since then I've used World Waterfall Database to find dozens of waterfalls. Now the best way for you to understand how to use World Waterfall Database is probably for me to just show you how to use it. So let's jump into it. Alright, so World Waterfall Database. First we open up an internet browser, of course, and go to worldwaterfalldatabase.com. And then what I like to do is go into database here, browse by map, and you select the country. For me, I'm in Canada, and I live in the province of British Columbia. What we're gonna do is kind of zoom in here to where you live. I live on Vancouver Island, and as you can see here, this just kind of shows how many waterfalls there are in my province. And I'm sure if you live in a place that's got a lot of elevation change, a lot of mountains and hills, there will probably be a lot of waterfalls in your area as well. So then we'll zoom in a little further. Let's just go over to some of these waterfalls over here. Some of these ones closer to Courtney, say. And here we are. The green ones mean they're definitely confirmed. The yellow one means that they haven't necessarily been confirmed in a long time or ever, but there's a good chance they exist and they're there. I have actually found a lot of these yellow waterfalls on the map before, and they were there. They were pretty impressive, big waterfalls. Not to say that you're gonna have as much luck as I've had, but definitely worth a shot. So yeah, anyways, that is World Waterfall Database for you. Now you're probably wondering, which of these methods work best for me for finding that sweet, sweet nectar? Well, I personally use Gaia GPS and World Waterfall Database mostly. Now, one of the biggest reasons I use both World Waterfall Database and Gaia GPS quite often is because there's some waterfalls that are listed on Gaia GPS that aren't listed on World Waterfall Database, and vice versa. This is probably the most effective way that I've found hidden gem waterfalls before. Now, it's important when you're about to go out and find these hidden gem waterfalls to take screenshots at a zoomed in level, at a further zoomed out level on the map, because you want to have references saved on your phone for if you get out a cell phone signal. Now, if you lose track of these maps, you might get out there and be trying to find this waterfall, but you have nothing to reference because now you have no internet connection, and now you're kind of screwed because you have no way of loading back up World Waterfall Database, or the Gaia GPS map might just not load because you're not in cell phone signal. Now, this brings me to another point. A lot of these waterfalls are actually in areas that are lesser populated. There's not cell phone signal, the roads are pretty rough, the trails are pretty under-maintained, there's often more animal presence in these areas, so it's extremely important to have a safety plan in place and to have the right safety supplies with you. So some important safety supplies that I'll often bring with me are a first aid kit. I like to make sure to bring enough food to last for a few days for sure. Bring as much water as you can. I like to bring purification tablets because if you end up running out of water and you're lost for a few days, you're gonna need to find some water to drink, and it's a lot better if you don't get sick drinking some of the water out there. I also like to bring a lot of warm gear, sleeping gear, because say you get locked behind a gate or you're lost, out in the boonies and you have no idea how to get back on the main roads, it's really important for you to have some warm clothing so you don't get hypothermia, a nice sleeping bag to keep you warm. It's really important to have a spare tire, understand how to change a tire, and have the right tools to change a tire. It's not uncommon to pop a tire while you're traveling in some of these lesser known places. If you get lost in a place like this, you definitely want somebody to be able to find you, so flare gun is a good thing to invest in, or maybe one of those SOS phones. If you've gone through all your tires, your car's stuck, or you just can't get your vehicle to move for whatever reason, you're definitely going to want some decent footwear to hike in for sure, because that might be your only survival option, is hiking back to safety. Battery packs are another important thing. I like to have one that can charge my car battery, as well as a couple that charge my cell phone. This is super crucial if your car ends up getting stuck and you need to hike back to an area with cell phone signal. It's really important to have a battery that can keep your cell phone alive, because the second you get that cell phone signal, you need to get a message off. And one last thing I'll mention is always let somebody know where you're going and where you're gonna be, because if you get stuck out there, it's way better that somebody knows, if they haven't heard from you in a few days, that they need to send somebody looking for you on these back roads or on this hiking trail. So I guess to sum this all up, have the right supplies, make sure you have a proper safety plan in place, and most of all, have fun while you're out there. Well, there's only one thing left to do. Oh yeah. Find some hidden gem waterfalls. All right. And Those three right there. So a quick rundown of some safety supplies we're bringing on this one. We have our knife, bear spray. We've got a fair bit of food. We've got 3 big tuna sandwiches in here, some pineapple, some blueberries, big thing of almonds. Almonds are really good in that they have so many calories in such a small amount of food. You got really high fat, they have a lot of protein, they have carbs. I highly suggest you bringing some almonds on your trip. They're definitely a superfood that will keep you tided over if you're in an emergency for a while. If you're stuck somewhere for a couple days, you could probably survive off almonds, so definitely worth it to bring some. We also have some water. We actually have about, between this guy back here and these bottles, we have about 6 liters of water, 7 liters of water. First aid kit. We have a cougar horn, it's just packed away right now. And we got 2 totes with some random camping supplies. We have some water purification tablets. Those are really huge to bring on trips like this for safety, because if you run out of water, then you can drink water wherever you're at. Go find a creek, go find a lake, purify the water. This is just a basic rundown. We're not going too far away from the nearest town. We're going to be about half an hour away from Port Alberni. So it's actually not that bad. We're not too worried right now, but who knows, anything can happen. I do have a spare tire. I do have the tools I need to change a tire if I need to. This is just a basic, you know, what you should look at bringing if you're gonna go on the back roads, go into the back country, be in a place without cell phone signal or with rough roads, be prepared for an emergency. Anyways, let's go have some fun.
And off we go.
The backcountry is a place you do not want to get stuck without gas, so make sure when you're leaving for these trips, you fill up your tank of gas. Alright, we had to make a really important stop because, as I like to reiterate in my videos, coffee is important. And onwards. Okay, so we just got pretty close to where I think this waterfall is. The road's a little rough here. I'm just gonna go scope it out to see what it looks like with the drone. I think that's a really good way to get an assessment of whether it's worth going further on foot or not. We're about 1 kilometer away from this waterfall, or where it's supposed to be on the map now, so let's go check it out with the drone. I flew over the river up there with the drone. It looks like there might be some small little drops in the river, nothing too spectacular. We're probably not gonna hike in over there because we actually have to go the long way back around to get to these other waterfalls we're gonna go see. So we're gonna drive out of here now. At least one out of these 3 waterfalls should be good. So let's get back on the road now. All right, so we just made it here to the first waterfall that we found on this trip. Super excited to go check this out. This one's called Forgotten Falls, apparently. Pretty huge river for a waterfall like this. I don't think I've really seen too many waterfalls this wide on Vancouver Island. Forgotten Falls. I mean, we didn't forget about them. Thank you very much, World Waterfall Database. This looks like it'd be a glorious swimming hole in the summer. I'd love to come check this out at a different time of year, but wow, is this ever just amazing. So cool to be here. We're 1 out of 2 so far for these waterfalls. We got one more stop to try to find one more waterfall. Let's go get it. So far, no animals, so we're pretty lucky with that at least. No animals, no injury. We'll be alright. We'll get to some service or something.
We're kind of stressed out right now. We just had a gate close on us and we're out of cell phone signal. So we're trying to get out and we had to off-road in the bush around the gate and we managed to get past this one. So we're really just hoping that there's no more gates. We're not gonna go find this other waterfall right now just because we're not sure we're gonna be able to get out of gates and stuff. We're gonna just drive towards, see if there's a gate. If there is a gate, maybe we'll double back, come see this one. But for now, onwards. Hopefully we don't run into another gate.
Alright, so while that was a little bit of a scare for us, we thought we were going to get locked inside that gate all night. What we figure is that if that one was locked and there's another one to get out of here, we're probably locked in here anyways, so we may as well make the most of our time here, and we're going to go try to find this last waterfall. This one's called Dixon Falls and there's a little bit of a trail to it, so let's go check it out, I guess. It's an interesting trail so far. I can hear the waterfall. All right, and there it is, Dixon Falls. This one's actually pretty big. Here is proof that some of these methods I talk about for finding hidden waterfalls actually work. All right, so a big lesson learned on those roads for us today. We apparently shouldn't have been on any of those roads today. We didn't check Mosaic Forestry's website to see if we were even allowed to be on those roads, what time any of the gates locked. So we ended up at the first gate. It was locked. I had to do some off-roading in my vehicle that it's really not capable of. I may have messed it up a bit. It bottomed out really bad trying to climb through the forest. But we made it out of there. So we decided to go to Dixon Falls after. We made it to Dixon Falls. We did find it. What an incredible waterfall. But when we got back up to the car, the camera had to go off. And the reason the camera had to go off is because we ended up finding some security guards at our car. Basically, forestry security guards, the guys who patrol the logging roads. They were back up at the car and they were there to give us a warning, a written warning actually, saying you guys aren't supposed to be in here right now. If you're on roads that a forestry company owns, it's probably good to check their website to make sure that you're allowed to be in there. Check to see when gates open and close. Apparently you're allowed to go on those roads on the weekend, just not Monday through Friday. When there's a logging operation going, it can be pretty dangerous on those logging roads. The logging trucks go pretty fast. You definitely don't want to get hit by a logging truck. It would be pretty tragic. I don't think you would survive it. If we did get stuck behind the gates tonight or for a few days, we would have survived. It wouldn't have been the end of the world, but it would have been pretty unfortunate. Pretty boring. I think we would have ended up being kind of upset about it if it happened. We're lucky we got out. We're actually pretty happy that we saw those Mosaic security guards because we were kind of under the impression that we might be stuck in there already when we went to Dixon Falls, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. We had enough water, we had enough food, we had the right supplies with us. This is why it's so important to bring these supplies. There is your reason right there. We almost spent the night on those logging roads. Anyways, if you guys did find this video helpful, smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys next time we go out to get one of those.